Yo, what's going on, guys? Today, let's talk about Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker. Saw it a couple days ago, and I wanted to just kind of let it soak in. I just needed some time to really just think about it and just really like understand what happened. I woke up the next morning and I was like, damn, that was actually a good movie. And this is probably the best Star Wars movie that Disney has done since they started doing Star Wars movies. So before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know this is going to be a lot of spoilers. I'm going to be talking about the entire movie. I'm going to talk about all the scenes that I remember like thoroughly and the things that kind of bothered me and all that stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't watch this. I'm telling you, just tune out right now. You got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's it. All right, spoilers on. So getting into the movie, I just want to talk about the characters themselves. What really stood out to me the most, I never liked Finn as a character throughout these new Disney movies. I've never liked Finn. I always thought he was a huge pussy. I thought that he was always like, it was always that scene of him trying to run away all the time. And then it was always these outrageously ridiculous scenes like him fighting Kylo with a lightsaber. Why the hell was he fighting Kylo with a lightsaber and survived was a complete mystery, and only Disney could do something like that as far as like making a Sith Lord that could freeze your fucking ass. Anyway, let me not get into it. Anyway, so in this movie, Finn was actually a really well done character in this part. I saw he had actual confidence. He was fighting. He reminded me a lot of like Han Solo. Like he was really out there like doing stuff and like, you know, killing stormtroopers, and like he was being a badass. And I was like, wow, okay, I really like this Finn now. And they really avoided doing this whole the Rose and Finn relationship thing, which I'm really glad they didn't do that. And I'm glad that Finn didn't get all like, you know, like crazy about Rey either. I mean, in the movie he mentioned that, you know, when they were sinking into that sand dune thing and fell into the bottom, you know, he was in the middle of almost like confessing his love to her, but at least he didn't actually go through all that stuff. He didn't get emotional or anything. So I felt like Finn was in a better place in this movie. Like he actually was like doing heroic shit. So I definitely have a lot more respect for him in this movie than I did in the last ones. Also, Poe was just like in the other movies. He's actually a really great character. I really like the way he expresses himself, like especially like the comedy that goes on. You know, his little like the little things that he kind of throws in every once in a while. That stuff is funny, and I really like that they actually added that to this character because they added a lot more like little comedic scenes in between that made it feel a little bit more. It was almost going into that whole like Marvel kind of vibe where, you know, some of the characters always like telling little jokes or doing little stupid things that are just funny. So I thought that was really cool. That was a cool little addition. And Poe was a great character, just like always. Rey, she was doing some amazing ass shit in this movie. The biggest scene that really caught my eye was the part where, you know, when she flips over the Kylo's ship and, you know, chops him and breaks the ship. That was cool as fuck. And then their little battle when a Chewie got captured, and then they were showing that little ship going off, and it was supposed to be Chewie on that. They're trying to grab the ship, and the moment that I saw Rey grab the ship and started pulling it towards her, I immediately thought about that game Force Unleashed, where the character in that game pulled the Star Destroyer down and smashed it into the ground. And I'm like, oh shit, like if we could see stuff like this in the movies, then that would be amazing. And that's basically when I saw Rey do that, I was like, holy fuck, she's gonna do some crazy shit. You know, like I was really expecting it to get to the point where she's pulling Star Destroyers out of the sky. But I mean, it never got to that point. But still, like it was cool to see like the potential of like what they're doing with like the evolving of their powers and them actually understanding like now she's flying, kind of like she's floating in the air and doing all these things. So they kind of they're developing these new skills. And when she shot the lightning bolt out of her hands and blew up the ship, The thing that I really didn't like about that scene is that, you know, they got this whole emotion of Chewie was on the ship and she blew them the fuck up. And I was, you know, I was thinking about Chewie, yeah, because Chewie's a great character. But at the same time, I was thinking about all the stormtroopers that got killed in that. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people that died in that scene right there, you know. But at the same time, like, you really have to think about it, because later on they showed Chewie was fine in another ship. So it's like, why in the fuck was there another ship? Where did this other ship come from to pick him up and also have that other drop ship that was leaving? It didn't make any sense with that scene. I know that Disney was just trying to pull your emotion cords, but I mean, that was just kind of silly to me. But still, it was really awesome to see Rey even doing that in the first place. And the lightning was amazing too. It would be great to see Jedis actually do this shit. I don't understand why they always go into this whole route. Like, if you're using lightning, or if you're using like the force grab or things like that, that automatically you're in the dark side. You know, like, I just feel like that's kind of silly, because I don't know. Anyway, but that's the Star Wars universe, and that's how they treat it. I really enjoyed the scene of Lando coming back into the movie, which, when he came in, I was really assuming that he was gonna come in at some point, because if you really look back on the old movies versus the new Disney movies, basically their timeline of the first, the second, and the third, they're doing the same thing. It's almost like they're copy and pasting what happened in the old ones and putting it into the new ones with a new twist. That's pretty much what I see when I watch these movies. And when I saw Lando come out, I was like, I already knew that. I knew that was gonna happen, because on the third movie of the old ones, he came out and that was his thing. Like, he was like a prevalent character in that. So like, seeing him in this one was like, it was like a given pretty much. So it was cool seeing him back, and they didn't kill him, which is a great thing, because, you know, they've been killing off every single old character. And I know why Disney's doing this, because they just want to get rid of these characters, and they want to have their own characters that they're like focusing on for Star Wars. So I know that's the main purpose of why they're doing all this shit. It was cool to see that he was kept alive and he was fine. I didn't really care for his emotion towards Leia, though, when she died off, which that's another thing we got to talk about, because Leia, when she basically just went into her bed and just, like, you know, went to go talk to Kylo, which was gonna kill her, and she knew this. I don't understand why she couldn't at least give the common decency to go back and talk to her people, like, do some kind of, like, you know, like, get up in front of all her people and tell them what's going on, say her goodbyes, and really introduce the whole fact that Poe is gonna end up being the next, you know, general, basically. And it would have been far better if we were able to see this, but I know that it's probably because, since, you know, she died in real life, it was probably really hard for them to pull these scenes off, and they were using a lot of CGI in this to even keep her in the scenes. You know, they really didn't have too much dialogue for her, and I understand that fully. But it would have been so much better if they had a scene like that where they can actually have her speaking and saying her goodbyes and then going ahead and doing it. You know, like, it would have been a lot more emotional, and it would have felt like it was, like, you know, better. But we didn't get to see that, so that's too bad. But as far as Leia, because I'm kind of jumping around all over the place, and I apologize for this, but Leia, when she went ahead and she sacrificed herself to go talk to Kylo, and Kylo and Rey were having that battle. So when Leia goes ahead and she starts communicating with Kylo to see if she can change his mind, this is the moment where they're getting into that battle and they're fighting there. Right when he freezes, and the moment that I saw this, and I was thinking, like, if I was in the position of Rey, where I was pissed off, and yeah, we're all fighting, but if I would have saw, like, him freeze like that and just kind of shut off his lightsaber and just kind of, like, wait a second, there had to be something wrong with him to do that, in the way that he just kind of changed emotionally. And he just basically drops the lightsaber. Rey grabs it, decides to turn it on and stab him with it. And I was like, why in the fuck would she do that? And I know it was all just a ploy to kind of add that extra emotion again, which landed up with the whole, like, oh shit, I'm sorry. oops, I stabbed you in the chest. My bad, bro. And then so she basically heals him up. And it's interesting that she has this healing power now. So she's able to do this healing. And this is something that was always in the video games, by the way. And I was waiting for something like this to happen in the movies, which I'm glad it's finally starting to be introduced. These are the things that I see as the fine details from carrying over from the video games to the movies that actually works really well. And so she goes ahead and she heals him up. Everything's fine, whatever. And then they have their little thing for a second, and Kylo is going through this whole emotion of just thinking, and Han Solo pops up in his head. It's basically like him in his head, just seeing Han Solo, and he has a conversation with him. And at this moment, I was really hoping that Leia would pop up as like, a hologram or whatever, like their ghost form. I was hoping that they would pop up together and speak to him as a family. That was something I wish that would see too, but it was probably one of those positions where they didn't have Leia, for that last scene since she passed away, and there was no way for them to get that extra footage. And it's so fucking missed opportunity right there, because it would have been so powerful to have that scene of the father and the mother speaking to Kylo and really convincing him that he shouldn't be doing this shit anymore. Stop being a little bratty bitch. You see, with the slap, that's what they should have done in the past already anyway, which I don't want to get into the whole past stuff, because there's a lot of like holes in this story with that Disney made that just made it feel really stupid. I really don't like what they did with Luke Skywalker either. Like that, I could see why Mark Hamill was so upset with just Star Wars in general when Disney took it over, because it was just a lot of stupid shit that they made Luke into a fucking pussy too. They made him into Finn, basically. They turned him into a Finn. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Okay, so focusing on this movie, that scene is a missed opportunity. That's too bad. But when he takes his lightsaber and he throws it into the water, and I'm like, fuck, man, don't throw your awesome ass lightsaber into the water. Like, goddamn, he couldn't take that shit back, change the little like orb or something, like, change the crystal to change the color of it. Cause fuck, man, that was an awesome ass lightsaber. He threw that shit. Anyway, whatever. I know it probably has something to do with like, oh, this is the lightsaber I murdered lots of innocent people with, so I gotta get rid of it. That whole thing, and it's probably like tied to his emotions or whatever. But personally, like the way I see it as like, yo, it was an awesome ass lightsaber. He decided to throw that shit away like an idiot, and now he has nothing, and now he's gonna go fight the ultimate Emperor Sith Lord, which that's another thing we got to talk about, is that whole thing with Palpatine. He has no weapon, so I thought that was pretty silly. It ended up turning for the better anyway, because when it gets to the whole scene of Palpatine coming in, and to be honest with this whole Palpatine thing, there was a lot of things I didn't like what he did to combat, the resistance, as well as, the Rey and Kylo in this situation, because he was like basically an entity in a sense. Like, he was looking for a host for his body, so pretty much what he was looking to do was get Rey to kill him so that he can go into Rey's body and take over. That was pretty much what the concept was. Like an idiot, he goes ahead and he tells her the whole entire story of how, if you strike me down, you will become the new Sith warrior. And I'm like, why would you fucking tell her that? You're supposed to be an intelligent, evil genius, and you just told her your whole fucking plan multiple times. And that's the thing that just really, I thought it was stupid as hell. It was almost like, it reminded me of those old 007 movies, when the villain tells you everything, tells James Bond everything while he's strapped up in the chair, just tied up. And he's telling him the whole entire story of everything that he's gonna do to the whole planet Earth. And it's like, come on, man, why would you do that? So that was the biggest fail for Palpatine right there. And I feel like even bringing back Palpatine like altogether, what I thought was really silly, and I felt like it was just a filler because of that, that last emperor, I don't even remember his name, Snoke. They, you know, when they killed him off. So basically, like, they didn't have a new emperor, so they needed a new emperor. And I thought that Kylo was gonna be the new emperor, you know. So I thought he was gonna be the one in charge of all this shit. So why was there an extra villain? But I mean, that didn't really make too much sense to me. It's still like, it's whatever. But I really like the scene of basically Palpatine going and taking, like, doing his lightning power and just shooting into the sky to, like, really, like, fuck up all the rebels that were, you know, trying to do stuff, the resistance, whatever. They were just, like, blowing them all up in the sky. That whole scene right there, when he was doing all this fantastic stuff, I kept thinking about, like, what if Rey just went ahead and chopped him with the lightsaber and killed him? I mean, is that still that whole thing of basically him jumping into her body or whatever? I think that was kind of off the books at that point. I'm trying to remember because okay, yeah, because I missed the scene of basically when Kylo came in, and which that was another part that I totally missed, was that Rey ended up giving the Luke's lightsaber, or somebody's lightsaber. He ended up giving it. She gave it over to Kylo, like behind her back, like she went like this, and she gave it to him. That was cool as fuck. I thought that was like the coolest shit ever. You know, her giving the weapon over. But something that really I really started to think about a lot more was the fact that if you really think about the old movies, Luke Skywalker had a green lightsaber. His lightsaber now is blue. Why? Why is it blue? And I kept looking back, and I was like, I even watched the old movies, and I'm like, wait, it's blue in the second movie that Disney did too. And I'm like, wait, I don't understand. Why is it blue when Luke turned it green? He had it green in the newer, like the last movie. That kind of like tripped me out. So the scene that really triggered me to think about all this was when Kylo was knocked off by the Emperor and fell down into that hole. And then Rey was getting back up, which there was the scene of basically her, you know, she was knocked out because of Palpatine sucking the life force out of both of them. And this is how he gets his power back, of basically doing the lightning and shooting the sky. The voices of all the Jedis and stuff come into her head. And I was listening to it thoroughly because I wanted to hear, like, if it was everybody. And there was a bunch of random women that came in, and I'm like, who the hell are these ladies? Like, it was just like random women's voice of supposed Jedi, and I don't know what the hell they were introducing. But we heard Samuel L. Jackson, we heard like Yoda, we heard Obi-Wan, we heard them all. I think there was even Anakin in there at one point. I want to watch it again so I can see, like, if that was a thing. If you know, I mean, let me know in the comments. But still, I thought it was really cool, that scene. I just wish that it would actually show the Jedis standing around her. Like, if they made a scene where it was basically like her, and then, you know, like it was zoomed out and it was showing all the Jedis appearing around her and trying to help her, lift her up, that would have been fucking awesome. And they failed on that part too. So that was like, those are the things I was always thinking about while watching the movie. And it was cool because when she got back up finally, she grabbed her lightsaber, and then she also took the second lightsaber from Kylo, and then she turned them both on, and they were both blue. And I didn't think about it the whole time. It was always blue. But I never thought about it up until this point, because I'm like, wait, Luke's lightsaber is green. Why in the fuck is it blue throughout the whole Disney movies? Like, all of them. And it really, like, that was the thing that just really bothered me from then on, was just like, I was thinking about it, like, Luke had a green lightsaber. What happened? So anyway, she goes in and she goes, like, you know, to push the lightning back and to go, like, basically blow it up in his face, which I didn't understand why she went through all that effort when she could have just chopped his ass down with the other lightsaber, but whatever. And all this took all her life force basically to kill her, which makes no sense to me. I don't understand why that would kill her when she wasn't affected by anything. So it was like, basically they brought her back to life for like 30 seconds so she can kill him, and then that's it. Like, that's a pretty sad ending if you think about it that way. But Kylo comes back. Kylo decides to res her, or he figures out how to do the power himself, and he resed her. And this scene, I already knew he was gonna die because I thought back to when Palpatine was teaching Anakin, and he was talking about, Emperor, what was it, Sidious or whatever he was talking about, that knows how to bring people back to life, but it was unfortunate that he wasn't able to save himself. I thought about that whole scene in the prequels, and then it basically just came kind of true when Kylo resed her. He died, so it was basically reversed. And I was thinking in the scene, like, why couldn't Rey try to do it? Like, it would have been kind of funny though. Like, it would be like Rey brings Kylo back to life, and then Rey dies again, and then Kylo brings her back to life. He's like, no, you first. You know, like, I don't know. I was thinking about it, like, why couldn't Rey just like revive him? But I don't know. Maybe it was just too much power, and whatever. It is what it is. But then they had that whole scene of them kissing. So they kissed for a second. I heard a few people in the audience behind me go, "Oh my god!" And I'm thinking, like, why are you reacting this way? Like, they're not sister and brother. You know, they're not family related. So like, this is literally just like two people that could fall in love with each other, you know, like and I always saw it as like Kylo and Rey were a thing, and that's probably why they were connected in you know, the Force, which they never really explained why that is, or why they're connected to each other, that they can see each other and all that stuff. Still, like, I thought it was pretty funny when I heard everybody go, "Oh my god, he just kissed her cousin, oh my god," because that's immediately what I thought, and I know a lot of people probably thought that it was like a family thing. It's not. So anyway, I mean, as far as the whole film altogether, I kind of went off the chain and just started talking about random shit all over the place. I never have structure with my reviews, and this is why I don't do reviews that much, because I tend to go a little wild all over the place. My brain is like going 10,000 miles an hour. And especially with this movie was really, really great. I can't wait to see this again. I'm going to watch it again, and I'm going to see about, you know, the Anakin thing, because I think I heard Anakin's voice. I'm not sure, but I was trying to listen, and you know, my fiance was also listening too, and I was surprised. My fiance actually really liked the movie too, and she never likes anything, so it was really surprising for her to actually say, like, yo, I like that movie, I want to watch it again, especially since she's not a hardcore Star Wars fan. So it was definitely like refreshing to see that this was actually a really well made movie. And I was worried because there was a lot of, I saw reviews popping up, and it was already like getting 53 on Metacritics and all this other shit, which I never bother looking at reviews. I always tend to like want to make my own review, which I definitely recommend you guys just go ahead and just watch the movie and figure out whether or not you like it, because especially for Star Wars fans, you're really gonna enjoy this movie. I feel like there's a lot that this movie offers. It has everything. The only downside, I feel like there wasn't enough lightsaber battles in the movie. It was very short. You know, it wasn't like I think about the prequels, and I feel like the prequels treated lightsaber battles a lot better. Like the scenes with Darth Maul, like the scenes with Count Dooku, like, you know, the General Grievous, you know, all those scenes. I felt like there was so much more lightsaber shit in the prequels versus like the newer movies. And the newer movies was more like, it was straightforward, like, I'm just gonna freeze your ass, I'm gonna chop your head off, and that's it. Like, it was very quick, and it's what I would expect the Jedi to do, like very fast killing. I just wish there was more to that, though. I wanted to see more like lightsaber battling. It was still a pretty awesome movie. I almost thought that Rey was gonna go evil. Like, I was kind of seeing that a little bit. That's the thing with this movie, is that they just copy pasted too much of the old movies, so it was kind of predictable in a lot of ways. Especially the one scene where Rey sees her doppelganger of evil that has the double lightsaber thing that pops out like the Razor cell phone, like shing, you know, like I thought that was pretty cool, but I knew for sure like what was gonna happen after that, because it's so obvious. They made this movie so obvious in those kind of ways, because they literally have been copy pasting everything from the old movies into the new ones, and like, if you really look at it deeply, you will see this. But anyway, still go watch the movie. It's fucking awesome. The new little robot roller robot was cool as shit too. I'm glad Chewie's alive. And yeah, anyway, and the Rose relationship is nothing. There's no Rose relationship. I'm glad. I didn't want to see any of this Finn fucking Rose shit. Like, I thought that was stupid. But yeah, I'm glad it was just nothing. They left it alone. Leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't. Leave a comment below of what you think about the movie, if you saw it already, and if you have any questions about anything. I would love to just like talk about Star Wars. Let's vent, let's talk about shit, because I really enjoyed this movie a lot. But anyway, have a good day, guys, and I'll see you on the next one, all right? Later, guys.